Hey there guys, Fun Stampers Journey Coach Janice Whiting here. Today I have a video that is showcasing one of our stamp sets that is retiring. That means it's going bye-bye, and it is good for the rest of the month, so just a few more days until June 30th. Okay, June 30th will be the last day that you can purchase this set. So I've been trying to incorporate some of these in my videos throughout just to kind of stretch out that retirement sale. The last one I did, I believe, was this card here featuring our sweet home stamp set. So 30% off of that. If you didn't see it, go check it out. Super cute. I also give you a sneak peek to our gel press. So fun. So this time around, I am highlighting this stamp set called Wish in a Bottle, and I just thought, I don't know, for whatever reason it popped out to me. I guess I was thinking summer and beach and oceans, and this just popped out. So anyway, Wish in the Bottle, it is going bye-bye. Super cute set. So it's 30% off now until until through June 30th. Okay, so what, 4 more days? 3 more days? Okay, so you want to see what I did with it? Okay, so first I should probably preface with, this was a little more maybe an artsy card, and I don't want to freak you out because it's not as hard as it might look, okay? And so I used the bottle and the little message note, there it is, to create this very fun. It is kind of simple because it's just kind of like one layered there, maybe 2 layers, I guess. And that whole entire scene is Pan Pastel. Isn't that fun? I know, I'm making you want to buy them. I'm telling you guys, so fun. And if you're like, I can't do that, yes, you can. It's actually easier than you think. I'm going to take you step by step on how to create this. I actually watched a professional artist create a scene similar to this, and I was like, I think I can figure that out. And so mine was definitely not as good as his, but I think it kind of gives you the idea of the ocean and waves and the bottle inside the waves, or sitting on top, floating on top. So anyway, I added obviously some of our fun button elements here, and a fun little tag using the greeting, sending warm wishes. This one has a lot of fun greetings in it. Sending warm wishes, heartfelt, I love you, wish you were here and missing you. So anyway, I want to show you how I created this scene using our Pan Pastels and this retiring set. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it. All right, here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with what you're going to need to create this card, all right? So the main stamp set, like I mentioned earlier, is Wish in a Bottle, okay, SS-0160, and we use the smaller bottle with the little note, as well as the sending warm wishes sentiment, okay? From there, so that's kind of like the hero of the card. Then we're going to be using some of our oatmeal cookie cardstock in a regular A2 card with the side fold this time. And then a few sheets or pieces, shall I say, of our whipped cream. So the first layer of the whipped cream, the one that kind of gives a mat to our card, is basically 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, and that actually gets layered on top of that base at one point. And then the piece that you're actually going to be putting the Pan Pastel on is 1/8 inch, smaller than that even. And so I believe it's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, and that again eventually will get matted on top of the larger white piece. You're also going to need another little piece of white cardstock to make the banner. I've already kind of made this part, but I'll talk about it towards the end. And it is 3/4 inch by 2 1/2, and we cut that to create the little banner peak. But again, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, you're also going to need some black licorice ink, some of our awesome True Color Fusion ink, and then a few other things such as our Journey Glaze that you're going to use to add that glass look to the bottle, as well as some of our nature buttons to create the little bow embellishment here. Just kind of was trying to create some rigging of sorts to kind of go with the feel of the card. So let's go ahead. That's what you need. Mostly I'm probably forgot something like the twine, but you know me, I just kind of go for it, and as we go, we'll kind of tell you what you need and what we're going to use. And of course, as always, at the very end of the video, I will list out for you everything exactly that we use, the price and the SKU number, so if you want to purchase that, you can do that fairly easily, okay? Okay, so for now, you can go ahead and set aside your oatmeal cookie card base and even your larger panel that you cut that will be a matte. Oh, forgive the blurry, the focusing there, okay? Because we are gonna focus on creating this cool scene, all right? And I'm gonna stick this off to the side because I'm gonna need my space. Now what I'm gonna do is I am just going to adhere my panel just with some washi tape to, I have this really cool board that I got from the Scrapbook Expo show. The vendor is totally Tiffany, and she's got some really cool like organizational kind of pieces, and so this is kind of like a, I don't know, glorified little, what am I going to try to say here? Lazy Susan, that's what it is. And I'm just going to stick this to my board just to try to keep it from shifting. We'll see how well that works there. Okay, now I know it's totally white, so hopefully you can you can see a little bit there better than when I start applying the Pan Pastel. Okay, so obviously the main thing that I use to create this card are our Pan Pastels. And please don't hate me, but I did use three of our Pan Pastel sets. So I use this blue here, which is from our Confectionery Days Pan Pastel set. I also use our Party Pop Pan Pastel set, and in this particular set I use this blue, the black, and the white, okay? And these are actually very much a lot of the colors that I use. And then the last one I use are our Nature World set, and it's the ones I use here. I do, not very much, but I did use this set here. I don't believe I used this blue actually, but I used this dark blue for some contrast, and I did use the gray as well. Okay, so 3 of our Pan Pastel sets. Guys, if you've not seen my Pan Pastel videos, Pan Pastel 101 or part 1, part 2, go check it out. It's awesome. I will obviously reference some basic things in this video as well. But definitely go check those out because it gives you lots and lots of awesome information about our Pan Pastels. And as you will see here today, they are super, super cool. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of getting out some tools. Now you won't need all of these tools. I just happen to have them because I use Pan Pastels often. I really love playing with them, and so I've bought quite a few extra pieces because I don't like to have to switch out the little sponges all the time, although I know that that's just part of it sometimes. So FYI, each Pan Pastel set comes with its own little applicator like this, as well as some finger sponges, as well as some larger sponges. And it's for $49.99 or $95. So it's actually quite a great deal for all of these, plus the toolkit. You can order the toolkit separately, like I have done here. I've ordered a few extra toolkits because, again, I like to have a lot handy and ready to go. Okay, the other thing that you'll want to have handy is a paper towel or something that you can wipe off any of the excess pastel on, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, the very first thing that I did is I actually stamped my the little bottle because I wanted to use that as a frame of reference for where my water was to go. And so I used our black licorice, and I'll go ahead and grab a wipe here, and this smaller bottle that is in the set. And I don't know what I put on my stamp, but there we go. We are using block E, so block E fits kind of just perfect. And so I'm going to ink up my stamp. And I think I kind of wanted it towards the bottom right-ish, center-ish. And I probably won't get it exact, and I don't think it needs to be exact, but just for, you know, FYI for your frame of reference there. Okay, bottle. And then after the bottle, I took the little note, the little letter, the message in a bottle, and I stamped it, the little scroll, I guess, using our block C, again with our black licorice. And I got him, and I kind of tilted him a little bit. Let's see if I can get him just right. I tried to get him off to the side as if he was leaning against the edge of the bottle. Yes, got it. Boom. All right, and so he is there. And after I did this the first time, I realized that I probably should have masked the bottom edge of that bottle so that it doesn't look like it's a see-through message, like clear paper. But I was lazy and I didn't, and I obviously didn't do it the second time around. And so what I did originally was I took a white pen and I literally just kind of whited out that area. And it was fine. And it worked for me. So if you want to spend time kind of masking that bottom where the message is, then go for it. I'm gonna let that dry and probably apply another little layer here in a little bit. Otherwise, you could, if you have a whiteout pen or something, you can kind of white out the little area on the message part where the other part of the bottle shows through. Anyway, that is step one. So that I have it kind of oriented just kind of where I wanted. And from there I go to the sky. And I work from light to dark. And let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit here so you can see up close. I think that's probably pretty good. So I actually started off with, and I'm going to do everything, most everything that I did on my first take. Although not everything, because, you know, as you do things, you kind of figure out better ways to do it. But I start off with a layer of just real light, this light blue, okay? This light blue. And this Pan Pastel is highly pigmented. So you don't need gobs and gobs. And if you find that you have lots of excess dust on your paper, then you're probably using too much, okay? So just FYI. And I started off and I just kind of, I don't know, I made like a line of demarcation here where my sky, I think I wanted part of my bottle up above the sky. So maybe I want to make that wave a little bit more. So nothing too crazy, nothing too, whoa, you're just separating your sky from the ocean, okay? And I wanted part of my bottle sticking out there. And so actually I'll just go ahead and go over that too. And one cool thing about these Pan Pastels, guys, is that you can erase, okay? And you don't have to worry. So you'll see here that I'm going to be going over a lot of these areas of the bottle, but I'll be coming back and erasing some bits. And that's actually part of the technique that I use. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I've got that out. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and start coloring in the sky. I'm not really caring too much about the cork right now. I did a mixture of circular motions as well as side-to-side motions. This is the sky. I did try to incorporate more side-to-side because I was thinking, you know, this is out in the ocean and maybe it's windy, and so the clouds are more like, is it called cirrus clouds when they're more, you know, they look more like lines and wisps as opposed to puffs. Okay. This is just the basic foundation, just you're laying it down. And again, if you wanted it darker, you could make it darker by adding a little bit more color. I think this is pretty good for right now. From here, I actually did go and add, because I did want certain sections to be a little bit darker, I added a little bit of the gray. So almost kind of like, not a stormy night, but just a little bit of gray, just to give it, again, a little bit more texture to the sky. Again, you can do circular motions or you can do side to side motions. Just gives more depth to your sky. Again, it doesn't, if you wanted a bright blue sky, bright, shiny, you know, beautiful day, then don't add the gray. Okay, from there, I added a little bit and just a little bit of this blue from our Party Pop, set, so phthalo blue. And this one I was real careful with. I actually rubbed off on my paper mats because I didn't want it to be too dark. And then and only up here on this corner, for some reason I was thinking I wanted that one to be a little darker, maybe just a little bit darker up there. Okay. Again, you can choose where you want to place a little bit more of the darker color. Again, I was just trying to create some, oh gosh, interest, I guess, in it. Okay, side to side. We'll leave that kind of light. Maybe I'll do a little bit darker up here in this corner here. Okay, really that's kind of it as far as the background. Now here's one of the cool things with, oh, and I guess you should notice, and I should point out that I didn't change my tip. Like I started light to dark and I used just one tip. You could change it out if you want. Definitely if you were going to use a different color that was not in the blue hue family, you would want to clean it out really well or just switch out another tip completely. I kind of liked on having to switch out tips. It's so much easier and just faster, and I prefer that. Okay, so we have that. Now, the cool tip that I was going to tell you is that Pan Pastels, they're completely erasable. So if you have a set of Pan Pastels, a really cool technique is to use an eraser to create different shapes and designs in your on your drawing or on your piece. So I have one of these nifty wifty, I don't even know what they're called, click erasers from Pentel. Do y'all remember these from way back in school? And the only thing I want to recommend here is just to make sure you clean your tip by rubbing it off onto another clean piece of paper, so you're not, you know, transferring over a color that you don't necessarily want to have on your piece. So that I used. There's all sorts of different kinds of erasers you can use. I have this one, which is great. And generally speaking, we don't recommend the pink erasers, but I really wanted a straight edge to create some kind of stripy clouds. And so I used my pink eraser and it's fine so far. Again, I would just make sure that it's cleaned off before you know, would hate for you to transfer pencil marks onto your beautiful painting or piece. Okay, so to start off, I was going to create the sun. And that was easy enough because all you're doing is erasing in the shape of a circle. So I'm going to blow that off. And one of the really cool things about this is that even if you didn't get it just right, you can go back over it with Pan Pastels and work backwards and do it again. And then the next thing are the rays, and that's when I was going to use the kind of straight edge there. Had I had a white eraser that was nice and clean and ready for me, I would use that, but I don't. So I use my pink eraser and it will be just fine. So just create a couple of rays coming out. I say a couple. Really, it's up to you. I think I did 4 or 5, maybe some little ones in here. And yes, you're probably going to transfer over some of the Pan Pastel as you do that to the inside of the circle, but not to worry because you will be able to erase it when you are all done adding these little stripes and rays. Okay, so there we go. I can come back, blow some of those extra little pieces and erase the center part again. Again, you could add more, you could add less, you can make it look more realistic or not, it's up to you. But I'm going to leave it like that. And actually that one turned out way better than my original because my original I went through different erasers and this one didn't have quite a sharp edge. And anyway, you don't need to know all that. Okay, so that's the sun. And now let's think about some clouds. And the clouds were completely just random little, I don't even know how to say it, just random little motions. And let's see here. Let's go and do just, you know, think stripy clouds. That's the cool thing about clouds, is that there's no right or wrong way to make a cloud. And then maybe there's a little area up here that you want to come in and make maybe a smaller, I say smaller, maybe more of a clump of a cloud. That's kind of how I call them, what I call them. And maybe a little stripe here. Isn't this a fun, neat technique? I mean, you're basically kind of working backwards, still creating some designs on your paper. Okay, and you know what? I was about to wipe with my finger, but guys, be aware your fingers have oils on them, and so if you want to wipe, do it with a paper towel over your finger, just so that none of your oils transfer over. Okay, so what, is that good enough? I don't know. Let's see. This one seems kind of weird, so maybe I'll try to make it a little bit more organic. How about that? I'm going to come back over with a little bit of blue and take over some of that. There we go. That's a little bit better. You can always go back if you don't like your clouds and, you know, make them a little bit more organic. Don't freak out too much, okay? This is what a lot of people will do. They'll say, oh, mine looks weird, or it doesn't look like yours. And no, it shouldn't look like mine, right? Make it your own. Just use the techniques that I'm teaching you today, and then go and play. Just play. Maybe I have some wisps coming out of this one here. So it really is kind of what I was trying to go for, is some wispy clouds here. There we go. That's pretty good right there. Now, those are the clouds I've created. So you can create whatever your shape you want. I was, again, going kind of for a diagonal, and all I did was use my little eraser tool and erase some of that. You saw me, I went back and I didn't like some of the shapes, so I went back and added some more of the blue. Just play. You don't have to, you know, we're not perfectionists here. We're not professional artists. We're card makers, scrapbooks, crafters, and you're just creating a pretty card. So don't freak out and don't stress. Okay, so the sky is pretty much done, okay? And now let's work on the ocean part. And let me bring back my cards. Remember, here's the ocean. Okay, so we're going to be working on this in 2 sections. We're going to work the first section, kind of get that started, and then we'll come back and do this really pretty darker area here. So the blue that we're using it's back to that phthalo blue. And it is the blue that is in our Party Pop color, our Party Pop set. Do make sure you grab your, excuse me, one of your tools that is clean, okay? You don't want any other color in there. And so what you're going to do is you're going to grab this one, tap it a few times, and let me see, you want to probably get most of that in the camera view. There we go. Tap it a few times against there, and then just kind of go up against the edge of that you created. Go over the bottle. Yes, don't freak out. That's okay. You want to go over the bottle. Maybe create a couple of, maybe I want some jagged waves this time around. There we go. And just kind of come in and color over that. And in this particular instance, again, I'm just going to do what I did with the sky. Maybe some side-to-side motions, some circular motions. Yeah, I'm going to go over the bottle. There we go. The way you work with Pan Pastels is in layers, okay? And your first layer is never going to look amazing, okay? Just FYI. It may look a little off, and that's okay. I'm just going to cover all that. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to come back and erase that anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to just add a little bit more. And this time I'm just going to make some downward strokes here. So I want that color to kind of stay. right along there. Good. Some fun layers. Okay, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab a little bit, just a little bit of this darker color that is from our Nature World set, and it is our Blue Extra Dark. Okay, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just wiping my tool on the napkin just to make sure that I don't have any extra. And notice I'm patting, I'm not rubbing, I'm literally patting. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this blue in here. It might look even black, but it's actually a nice dark blue up in the bottle. I am kind of going in a circular motion here. Maybe in the way of the waves. There we go. All right, and then maybe I'll come back and I'll add a little bit more of this blue. So again, it's all about layering and blending. This blends like butter. So it's really, 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 really nice. Really nice medium. All right, okay, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. And then, whoop, there we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and start this next layer, okay? So just to kind of give it a little bit of a distinct area, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab quite a bit. So this time I'm going to actually stripe on my pad here. And I'm going to create this very distinct line here, okay? Because this is going to start kind of the area of my next maybe wave or part that's coming out there. All right, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to bring this down, and I am going to come back, and of course we're going to blend, blend, blend. Okay, so coming in, adding some more, come all the way to the bottom. That first layer obviously is not quite as I was about to say important, but that's the wrong phrase. It is important. It is important what you lay down, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're going to be adding more and more layers to this, that it's not as vital, so you don't have to worry. Okay, so here we go. I made that line. We've kind of distinguished it a bit, and we're not done, okay? Again, it's just lots and lots of layers. So at this point, I'm going to come in, and I'm going to bring in my black, all right? And we're going to start, and I'm not going to put a whole bunch, but I'm going to go along the line that I created, and I'm just going to outline it in the same way that I did with that blue. So I'm going to stripe, just kind of do a little swiping there, and maybe I'll start here and go right along that line. And I'm going to bring this black down. I'm just going to pull it down, because this area right here is actually pretty dark. Okay, maybe it's like a swell. Okay. Pretty nice. So just bringing that down. All right, so now what I want to do from here is I want to create a good bit of a gradient. Okay, so I've got the dark black. Now let's go ahead and come back to that ultra dark blue extra dark using the same. I'm not switching out the pads there. I'm going to bring in that blue extra dark, and I'm just going to mix it in. Bring that down, and I am bringing it all the way down here on the card, all the way down to the bottom. And you do want to blend real nicely there, okay, because you want it to kind of flow naturally down. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to grab a little bit of our phthalo blue, and again, just going from dark to light. And I know we're not quite at light yet, but we'll get there. We may not get quite to very, very light, but we will get to lighter. How about that? And again, I'm coming back and I'm mixing it with the black and with the ultra dark blue. And then for the last step there, I'm just going to bring back the phthalo blue, switch back to my pad that had more of the lighter color, and then bring in that nice blue color and see if we can just blend it nicely. Okay, the wonderful thing about this is that you can always come back, add more if you need it, take some away if you feel like you added too much, and then just blend, 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 blend. What I think I might do is, since I've lost a little bit of my contrast there from the blacks, I'm going to come back with the ultra dark just a little bit, because a lot goes a long way, and then just reapply a bit of that to the top there. Come back with some more of my phthalo blue and add it down to the bottom here. All right. Okay. So really, guys, as long as it's nice and blended and you can kind of see a little bit of a, you know, a variation in your colors, you know, dark to light, then you're good to go. I'm actually going to come in and I'm going to bring a little bit of this gray to create a little bit of a lighter area down here and here. So I'm going to switch over to a lighter pad and then just come in and add a little bit of a light gray just down to the bottom and even here. Okay, blend that really well. I'm going to come back with my dark and just kind of blend that area out. There we go. And you can be, you know, you don't have to be very heavy-handed with this. Soft-handed is great. There we go. You'll notice that basically, guys, we add a lot of color. We layer and we blend and we mix and we add more color, and it's really, really pretty. Okay, so we did that. I think I'm going to go ahead and pause there for a minute. I'm going to hit some of this area up here again with our phthalo blue. And so here's our phthalo blue. Come back and hit some of this area a little bit to make sure that it's dark. So just coming in and adding just a little bit more blue, darkening it up just a little bit more. But really, I think that's pretty good. Okay. God bless. All right, we've got our base for our ocean. Now, what I did was a couple of things. We're going to bring back our erasers because we're going to create some of the texture in the water for the waves, okay? And I did that in this kind of like reflection kind of area from the sun. And we're going to do that by taking away some of the Pan Pastel and either using, again, whatever eraser you have. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. I'm going to put these blues back in my black. Again, just always make sure you're using a clean eraser. And I basically just kind of followed the waves. Just, you know, I'm coming in this direction, and so then my lines would kind of be in that direction. So, and then maybe some areas here, some lines going in that direction down here. To me, there was like no right, like apart from it going in the direction that I was thinking the waves would go, there was nothing else to it other than that. And I'm literally just taking away the color using the eraser. And so again, in this area, and some of them are straight, trying to make some of them kind of squiggly because the water, you know, that squiggly lines evoke ideas of movement, the feel of movement, and so that's kind of where we're going there. Lines that are diagonal also do the same thing. Okay. Okay. And then as far as where the sun was reflecting down in this little area, I just erased a good bit. And this one took me quite some time to kind of play with because, I don't know, I erased and then I came back and then I came back. Obviously that doesn't look that good. Not very natural, does it? But I did that. I basically did that, played with it for a little bit, tried to create an area that looked like it was reflecting the sun, and then bringing in some rays as much as I could, as naturally as I could get it to look, which obviously is not that natural, but I thought it was kind of cool the way it looked, and I was happy with it. So we just left it like that. I am not a professional artist, people. You can call me a wannabe. But I'm assuming with lots of practice, we all could get better, right? Okay, let's see. Let's come back, and I'm going to just kind of blend a little bit of that. And where's my gray? Get my light one. Just trying to blend out some of that so it looks a little bit more natural than what it does. And again, so tempted to use my fingers. And the thing is, you probably with the fingers, it has oils in it, and so resist as much as you can. Resist using your finger. Okay, so I kind of did the waves. From there, to kind of clean up the edges a little bit, I did come back with the light, my light blue, just a little bit, and I kind of came around and I tried to just clean up some of those edges as best as I could. And then the last thing that I did was, again, with the nice sharp edge eraser, followed through on those waves. So from top to bottom, created that white line from the waves up from the top and then down. And that helps to create a nice edge as well. The other thing that I did with this area is I actually did get a colored pencil, and I used the colored pencil to kind of enhance those edges as well. So come along that as well. And it's just our white colored pencil, and there was nothing fancy about it other than it just was easy for me to get sharp lines. Pencil's a little bit easier to grasp than the edge of an eraser. But it did work. The eraser technique does work. Okay, and you can go back in and add some more little lines here and there. I'm just going to leave it as is. I think I've got some sharper waves that I did before, so that's kind of fun. And that's really it. From there, I took my other eraser and I came and I erased my little note, because even though he is kind of partially in water, out of water, however you want to see it, I wanted him to be to stand out just a little bit. And I basically took our number 8 colored pencil, and I wanted him to be like, to look like it was old, like it had yellowed over time. And so I added just a little bit of color to the edges. Still left most of it white, but just a little bit of color to the edges. And then came back, erased the cork, and I colored him as well. So you can come in and color the cork. I also used the one that to me is golden, which is number 20, and colored him a bit with the gold as well, kind of give that cork look. All right. Okay, so I've got a little bit of that in there. Kind of gave it a little bit of life. And really, that is kind of it, guys. So let me zoom out just a little bit. A little too much. You don't see my messy area. So you can kind of see here what I've done. It's about the same thing. Actually, I'm looking here and I think I want to blend. That looks scary. So we're going to blend that out just a little bit more, but I think you guys have the idea. I'm going to come in with just a little bit more gray, blend that out just a little bit more. There we go. That's better, right? Not so scary. And that really, honestly, guys, if you are new to anything like this, that is the beauty of Pan Pastels, is they blend so beautifully. I mean, it's so pretty, and the layers that you can do with your colors, there's just, it's amazing. It's really very user friendly, and I cannot recommend the Pan Pastels any more than I already do, because they're just, I mean, I don't know what else to say. They're just easy to use, and they're very forgiving. I think you guys would like them. I think that's all I can say about that. So, okay. So we've got our little ray, little sunshine spot that's reflecting on the water. We've got the pretty blue. We've got the bottle and everything else. Really from here, and I'm going to go ahead and take this off of my taped area. Do be careful when you grab it on the ends, because again, your oils will get on. I'm going to move this little movable tray off. Bring my card back there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create that, or at least I'm going to tell you how to create this little embellishment piece that I have. I didn't want to take too much time showing you how I created it, or creating it in the video, just because I knew this particular part would take quite some time. So basically, you've got a 3/4 of an inch by 2.5 inch piece of whipped cream cardstock. I stamped sending warm wishes on it, and then I trimmed the edges to create the peak. I actually used our slit punch there. See, it's got the slit. So you can see that. It creates a little slit. I punched it, and then I tied 2 pieces of our twine to it. One of the pieces I created a bow, and the other one I attached these super, super cute buttons. It's part of our nature button collection. They just looked cool. They looked like ocean, and I was trying to create, I don't know, something that kind of resembled rigging, because I, you know, it went with the card, ocean, right? And so I just kind of attached it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble everything together, and let's see here. We're going to go ahead and bring back our card base and that layer of white, and we're going to adhere this panel to the white. And basically all I did was I turned it over, and I used some of our tape runner, ran some tape all the way down the sides, down the middle, picked it up. And I also want to point out, I don't know if you can see, there's not much dust left over. There's a little bit, but that's one of the beauties of this Pan Pastel, of our Pan Pastels, is that it does not, once you rubbed it in really well and it's set, there's not much that's going to come off. You might have a little bit, but not much. All right, so we're going to try to center this as best as I can. Of course, there it goes down. Don't do what I did. Just, you know, do as I say, not as I did. Try to get it as centered as I can here. All right, and this really just has a very little white border around it. There we go. So once you get it centered, then what I do is I just turn it over, and I just kind of smooth it out that way. Okay, then you can pick it up, and then you've got that nice white border around it. Okay, from there I use some of our pop dots to pop it up onto the oatmeal cookie panel. And let's see here, grab some of our larger ones, and I just did one on each corner. And then of course one in the center. And that is going to fit right over the center of the card. Make sure the fold's on the left. Make sure it's nice and centered there. Okay, and then the very, very last part, once you've made that embellishment panel, is you are going to find either something that has a round shaft like this eraser pencil and curl up the ends and then stick it through the center and bend it the opposite direction. You're kind of creating a little bit of a flag. Yes, I kind of, again, had the idea of like a ship's mast, and this is like part of the rigging and the sails flying in the wind somewhere off to the side. So then take one of your pop dots there, maybe a small one on the end. Take the backing off and then adhere it to that just below the sun. Right there. And there you go. Now, I'm not done quite yet, right? Because the very last part is I'm going to take some of our Journey glaze and I'm going to glaze that bottle all over. Now, when I did it in my first card, come on, little guy. Okay, looks like he's going to be stopped up for me. What was I saying earlier? That's what I was saying. When I did it the first time, I only put glaze on the part that I knew where the bottle was sticking out of the water. And so this kind of wave, this dark wave, was kind of my line of kind of where I separated the two. Because I was thinking, okay, part of it would be sticking in the water, and that even though the water is glossy, I only wanted to highlight the glass of the bottle that was sticking out of the water. So that was my thought there. And then glaze here and here. So fun. Guys, Journey Glaze is one of my favorite products that we sell. If you don't have some, you need some. It's not very much. It's a great little extra tool to have in your crafting arsenal. Okay. Can I not help myself? I'm like, blend, 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 blend. Isn't that just all of us? I know you do this too. You create and you're like, I'm going to go back and just fix that. Okay, isn't that fun? Yes. So what did you think about that card? Were you scared? Don't be scared, okay? I am not a professional artist. You can do this. Okay, so here's card 2. Where did my other button go? There it is. Okay, so one of my favorite parts of this card is the rigging. Isn't that so fun? What I'm calling rigging. As if I'm like a sailor, whatever. Anyway, okay, so it's featuring, how about I use the one that is actually dry so I don't mess it up. So again, it's featuring our, well, I've already forgot the name, guys. A Wish in a Bottle stamp set. That is retiring in just a few days. Guys, if you haven't checked out our retirement list and our clearance list, check it out. If you haven't gotten it from me, then let me know. I will send you the PDF. Go to our website, check out what's available there. Lots of great, beautiful stamp sets that are 30% off. The ones that are clearance are 50% off. And while you're there, pick up some Pan Pastels and try out this technique. Super fun, super easy to do. You saw it, guys. It was easy. And it's I was trying to think of, I was like, I think a lot of people find it intimidating because you're like, I can't do that. You can. You saw me, okay? You saw me. All I did was apply some color, and then I took some off with an eraser. Okay, some bits and pieces of, maybe I outlined a little bit, at the very end, highlighted with some of that from using our white colored pencil. But for the most part, it was just layering colors and taking some color off. Okay, the clouds, the sky, it's all doable, guys. It's doable. You can do it. Okay. Now, of course, I did mine fairly quickly because I was trying to get you to just know the techniques. And so this was my number 2. And I probably back after this video is done, I might come over and try to blend some of this out a little bit. But I'm not going to try to be a perfectionist about it. That sun is kind of bothering me. I probably will be a perfectionist about it, and I'll try to maybe redo some areas to make them look a little bit more natural. But come on, it's a card, it's a greeting card. Someone would love to get this, and they would be like, wow, you made that? So anyway, if you have any questions about any of the products that I used here in this video, please contact me. Let me know. Put a note in the little comments section below. If you want to buy the stamp set that I use, this super adorable Wish in a Bottle stamp set that is 30% off, retired item, only for the next few days. After the next few days, you can no longer get it. It's gone bye-bye. Then go to my website, which is www.funstampersjourney.com/Janice Whiting, and click on the shop button, and it will take you to our webpage where you can shop like you would any online store. Okay? I always have announcements. I always tell people about RG Presents, but that time is up. Registration's over. If you didn't get in, you'll have to wait till next time. There will be more opportunities, of course. If you are local-ish, I do have an event coming up in September, but I'm going to have to wait on telling you the information on that till later. New catalog is going live July 1st. Hello, right? So I've kind of been focusing on our retired items list just because I want you guys to take advantage of that because that's on sale. But of course, our new catalog is coming live in a few days. Some of you guys already have your hands on one. Ha ha ha. Of course, if you are part of my Bloom Box Club, then I've sent you one. If you make an order of $150 or more, it automatically gives you one. And that's throughout the year. It's not just now. And of course, you can order your own catalog. You can pre-order one right this minute and get it in your hands in a few days. And they are $12.95 plus shipping and tax, of course. Okay, guys, I think that's it. I feel like I'm always missing out. I'm always forgetting something, but hopefully I'm not this time around. If you have any questions, again, just let me know, and hopefully you're inspired to go create and make something yourself, and we shall see if I can get back on here at least one more time before the very last day to remind you about these awesome retired items. Okay, guys, I think that's it for me. We'll see you later. Bye.